To those that have finished Nier Automata, it is no surprise that some people are left with questions about the fate of 2B, 9S, and A2. However, some publications and players are left to believe there will be a sequel with them all returning. This kind of became a reality with the release of the Nier music concert, The Memories of Puppets, in 2017. The concert itself spanned 5 performances, each including a drama written by Yoko Taro that featured the game's original Japanese voice actors. One of the more notable performances towards the end was titled Farewell, a 20-minute epilogue depicting what happened after the events of Automata's ending E. I highly recommend you listen to the performance, and I will leave a link to it in the description of this video, but I will retell an abridged version. The story begins a month after ending E. 2B wakes up and doesn't know what happened after her death. Pod 042 tells her that the virus inside her was deactivated after the collapse of the tower. 2B is then confused, since she was dead during all that, but suddenly she is worried for 9S, who has not yet been rebooted. Pod 153 tells her there were many attempts to reboot him, yet nothing worked because his personal data wouldn't load. 2B is then suggested to dispose of his body, since the pods believe 9S will never reboot. She absolutely refuses to do so, speaking in a strong tone, practically in denial of him being unable to reboot. Taking her weapon and necessary items, she leaves the pods and decides to go and find a possible solution. Throughout the next 9 days, she learns more about the tower and how 9S and A2 destroyed it. The city ruins were left in an even worse condition, filled with white debris and the loss of many resistance camp members, including Devil and Popola. Anemone was unable to provide much information to help 9S's condition, and since Yorha models were created with black boxes inside, maintenance can only be done in the bunker, which has been long destroyed. 2B was beginning to lose herself, in need of proper maintenance and failing to find the help 9S needs. Everything was becoming meaningless. She was starting to wonder if 9S will ever wake up. She receives an email from Jackass, suggesting 9S's data could have been part of the arc that was launched with the collapsing tower. 2B decides to follow the coordinates Jackass provided. 3 days later, she finds the collapse site with the aid of both Pod 042 and Pod 153. However, 2B is progressively still taking damage due to her lack of maintenance. 2B ignores this and decides to start digging through the tower's debris. Using her sword to dig isn't sufficient. She switches to things better suited for the job. She is enduring so much pain, not only physically losing all feelings of her fingertips and her wrist sensors dying, but also the aching pain going through her mind. She finds what was believed to be the Ark, a huge memory unit made by combining complex crystals. Although no living crystals are to be found, that doesn't stop her from scattering her own blood, continuing her search. She is desperate to find something to bring back 9S, any little bit of information she could collect. Abruptly, she is forced into shutdown due to overload. Pod 042 then manages to reboot her 2 days later, with the pod showing her a small orange sparkling crystal, a remnant of the machine lifeform's communication protocol. With it, they attempt to create a repair vaccine that could bring back 9S's memory storage data. Pod 153 administers the vaccine, but each time leads to no effect. 2B is livid and keeps demanding it to be re-administered. She begins losing hope. Pod 042 hypothesizes 9S's personal data has been lost, believing it was wiped of his own accord, with the possibility of recovering his data being extremely low. But suddenly, there's the sound of 3 beeps. Pod 153 finds memory components within traces of personal data containing the reason behind his personal data's reparation failure, then asks if 2B wants to repair that memory component. 2B agrees, and 9S's voice is heard with the sound quality of a radio, sounding as if he was suffering. 9S admits he did not go on the Ark because Yorha androids do not deserve to be loved by the world. They are just soldiers, created to die. He confesses he was glad to have been born as he was, wondering if his personal data was going to disappear. But he was okay with this. 2B begins to cry silently. 9S calls out to 2B, saying they are not immortal, that they will one day break down and return to the earth. Acknowledging his existence was not meaningless, because meeting 2B gave meaning to his birth. He proceeds to thank her twice, as his voice becomes hidden with static. 2B begins weeping as she calls him Nines. She does not move from her place, remaining there, unmoving forever. The pods do not understand the meaning behind this, not knowing why 2B didn't move or speak. The story ends with Pod 153 narrating, "Everything that lives is designed to end. They are perpetually trapped in a never-ending spiral of life and death. However, life is all about the struggle within this cycle. That is what we believe." Actually, this is the original script that Yoko Taro wrote, and not what was shown in the performance. Let me explain. An exclusive script book was extremely limited and was given to people who attended the first concert in Osaka a week before Farewell's performance in Tokyo. Since some scripts within the book were not yet performed, these scripts were leaked online, one of them being Farewell. People were shocked to read Farewell and were heartbroken to read the grim endings of 2B and 9S. So when it became time to perform Farewell, the ending was changed to where 9S wakes up and his personal data is restored, thanks to his black box for some unknown reason. Personally, as much as I'm a fan of Automata, I actually like the first ending more, as tragic as it sounds. It just seems kind of fitting to have a very sad ending to this narrative, but at the same time, having 9S wake up and reunite with 2B is also very heartwarming and can also lead to many outcomes afterwards. Personally, I do not want a sequel to Automata. If there is going to be another Nier game, I would rather have it be a large gap, just like how Replicant is a large gap between Automata. I would like something kind of similar to that, but who knows. But whatever the case is, I will still enjoy whatever happens with the Nier series, and I hope you enjoy as well. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you soon.